Numbskulleys podcast, episode 1. Today we're going to be talking about video games. First one I would like to talk about is Call of Duty Vanguard. I think it's an okay game, but I think it needs a lot of changes. World War II is getting boring, and it's just not what I feel like any of the audience really wanted from this game. I believe like Modern Warfare 2019 was probably the best we've had in a couple years, and Warzone is good, and just in general, the campaign was great. I feel like the past two games, Cold War, Vanguard, it's been kind of boring, kind of the same old thing. And I'm hoping that the next game they do, they'll try to give us what the audience wants, not just what they want. I feel like they've become very disconnected with their audience. I think back to Black Ops 2 days, which was my first experience with an online game, and it felt a lot more user-friendly, I guess, or just felt a lot more fun. I feel like now they just put out whatever they can because Call of Duty is so big that they're not really trying to prove anything anymore. Like back in the day, Modern Warfare 2, Black Ops 2, they had something to prove, they had something to keep them on the map. When you had games like Battlefield kind of challenging them back in the day, like Battlefield 3 and 4 were really good, and I feel like Call of Duty now isn't really in competition. They're just kind of putting out games they know people will buy them. They don't really care about the quality. They care more or less about the quantity and what kind of money they can make. Considering every game now has a battle pass, and of course DLC is still a thing for some reason. They don't decide to get with the times and release it for free. EA's decided to do that, and I think it's worked out for them on games like Battlefront 2. And yeah, I don't know. I feel like eventually they're gonna have to change up their formula, or it's just gonna die out like everything else does. It's kind of like they don't have a lot of passion into their projects anymore. It's kind of sad to see. But I guess you could say it's one of my lower tier games to play these days, and back in the day it would have been one of the best fun times to have. And a lot of people hate on the new Battlefield 2042, because of the buggy beginning for the beta, and I can understand that, but it's a lot more fun game, more to do. Every time I've played it with friends, it's great. And I feel like people need to give it more of a chance. People are rating it so low, even though Vanguard is half the game it is, in my opinion. The only thing that Battlefield 2042 doesn't give you really is a campaign, which I was disappointed with. The multiplayer is fun. The way they did the classes is fun. The maps are pretty good. And I just feel like people need to give it more of a shot and not judge it so fast. Because most games you play, the beta always is bad, in my opinion. It's never good. It's always buggy. Then again, bugs don't really bother me like they do some people. And yeah, the Vanguard beta was a bit more smooth. And the game itself is decently smooth because it's got the Modern Warfare engine in it, but Battlefield definitely is a top tier game in comparison. Multiplayer is fun, the classes are fun, they have the different modes with the different versions of Battlefield, like Battlefield 3, Battlefield 1942. They just have more to give, while Call of Duty, I feel like, is just a copy of the last one. It's just Modern Warfare during World War II. And multiplayer is okay. It's okay. That's all it really is. The maps are kind of okay. Zombies is very disappointing. Probably the most boring zombies I've ever played. Cold War would have been... I was excited for that game as well. When I first saw the trailers, the multiplayer looked fun. The zombies looked awesome. They try to make it more creepy in the trailer. And play the game. The multiplayer is okay. It's not that great. It's a very annoying game to play. And it's not anything different, really. It's just made worse than Modern Warfare, in my opinion. And the zombies was semi-decent. It was definitely better than Vanguard's. It's not hard to do, though. Vanguard was pretty much bare bones, while at least Cold War had some cool Easter eggs and some pretty okay maps. But Vanguard is what it is. It's just cheaply made, in my opinion. Didn't even play the campaign because it doesn't appeal to me anymore. And campaigns in Call of Duty was like half the thing I liked about Call of Duty, other than zombies, of course. So I don't know. I hope they start to get on track with that. And going back to Battlefield, I feel like obviously I could see where people would dislike it, and some people aren't into as big of games with big as maps, but I don't know. I think people should give it more of a shot. And then I guess the next big game out right now is Halo Infinite, and it's pretty good. I'd say it still could use some work. They need more game modes, like SWAT. They need to have a selection to pick exactly what you want to play, not just a playlist. They need just some more content, I feel. The gameplay's okay. Some of the game modes are just not worth playing. They're just like every other Halo in that sense of there's just those game modes that no one really wants to play. They're just there. And then you know, you got Slayer, and hopefully SWAT will be there soon. Maybe even Infected. I thought that was a great addition that they've had for a long time. Then, you know, the campaign I haven't played yet, but I've heard it's good. I'm excited to start playing that. Then I guess, you know, I hope Halo goes well. I hope things start to get a little bit. I hope they do more with it. I think the armor system's okay. I think, you know, adding Reach skins in the first seasons has been cool to see. Reach is my favorite Halo, so it's good to see. I guess I decided this would be a good topic because I feel like video games are kind of they're not as good of quality as they were back then. And what I mean by that is like they don't seem to be as passionate in certain ways on certain games. Like especially if you have a big series of a game, feels like they try a little bit less each year, and then one year they'll surprise you. A good example of this is I play the WWE 2K games, and 2K19 was a really good game. Me and my friends played it, and we liked it a lot. So we were excited for the next game, and so they came up with WWE 2K20. None of us bought it because it was buggy. The reviews were bad. Not a lot of people were playing it, and it just didn't seem like it'd be worth our time. So we didn't get into it, and it was so bad that the next year they didn't even make a game. Then they came out with the little 2K brawl game or whatever it is, and it seemed okay. I played a little bit of it, but it wasn't really what we wanted. And finally 2K22 is going to come out in April, I believe. It was supposed to come out in December, but then they pushed it back. And you know, we're only hoping it's as good as 2K19 was, because it's been hard to play the same game. The servers are technically off, but you can play online still, but it's not the best. They're very laggy, and they don't always stay connected, so we're hoping for that. And you know, now we got competition like AEW coming out with a game, and we're excited for that because a lot of the wrestlers we grew up watching are over there now, and it seems like it'd be a great time to be a wrestling company that wants to come out with a game, because 2K did so bad last year that now's the time to come in and try to take over the profits and the fans to get to another game. And also, just if you love AEW, perfect place to go. One thing I'm worried about, I guess, is, you know, what's it going to look like? What's the gameplay going to look like? It's got older software, and they're a smaller company, of course. And although, from what I've seen, the character models look okay from what they came out with. And also, I guess one benefit is they're always going to keep on updating it. It's not going to be a once-a-year thing. It's going to be they update it annually. So they're going to come out with more characters, hopefully more arenas, maybe even graphical updates as they get more money for the project, because I know they have a limit because they are a smaller company, especially with the amount of people they've brought in over the past couple years. People like Chris Jericho, Christian Cage. I mean, you just got so many, really. So much good talent that WWE's been wasting. They've been firing so many good wrestlers that they're just not taking advantage of the talent they have. They're just letting it sit there, and then they make bad money moves, lose it, and then they have to get rid of people that are important. A big problem is that the people they have in control, you know, you still got Mr. McMahon, who's not with the times. You got some other people that know nothing about wrestling helping, and they're just not doing a good job. So it's kind of falling apart, but, you know, hopefully the video game turns out good so wrestling fans can enjoy it, because there's not a lot of games to pick through with that until recently when they have AEW as a competition. And I believe there's a game called Ultra Violent Wrestling coming out sometime in the near future as well, so that'd be exciting to see what that's about. But yeah, I feel like video games, I love them, of course, but it's just harder to get into because it feels like there's not enough passion. And if you're not playing with friends, it's not as fun on certain games. It's just not what it was back in the day. So I see myself usually going for more single-player games because it's the only thing I really have time to do, and it's the only thing that's enjoyable if I don't have friends, because a lot of these multiplayer games aren't that fun by yourself. They're not really worth, you know, playing. Battlefield's probably the best one for that, but, you know, there's games I like to play, like Total War games, if no one's heard of that. It's pretty popular. They're strategy-esque war games, big battle, siege. It's fun. It's kind of what I play because there's not much else I'm really interested in at the moment. You know, I feel like these single-player games are kind of what keeps me playing, because a lot of, like I said, the games are just not worth looking into. There's not a lot of games I'm excited for coming out, really. I thought I was, and then you get them, and it's like, oh, they're just kind of the same thing. Because, I mean, the 3 games that came out are all shooting games. There's nothing different about them, really. You know, there's different types of gameplay and different game modes and vehicles, and online experience is a little different, but for the most part, they're all the same. And, you know, I kind of wish Call of Duty especially would have went with a different time era, because I feel like World War II is just boring now. It's like we have probably like 30, 40, 50 games all about the same thing. Especially Call of Duty has like 6 of them already. It's like, well, there's other wars you could have done. There's other things you could have done, and I feel like they're just putting themselves in this hole that they can't get out of, because they just keep on doing the same stuff instead of exploring or trying something new. And I guess their defense would be, well, when they tried space, like Infinite Warfare didn't do so good. It wasn't that good of a game. Advanced Warfare was okay, but not really what people wanted either. So they decided, oh, we're going to go back in the past again, like they did after Infinite Warfare when they went to World War II. And then they decide, oh, we're going to go to Modern Warfare, which did really well. Then you're going to go to Cold War, which did okay. And now you're going to World War II again because you have nothing else to do. What about the Vietnam War? What about like a realistic but still Call of Duty Vietnam War multiplayer game with zombies, maybe a good campaign that's not, a repeat of every other Call of Duty, or make up a war if you want to, if you don't want to be historical. If you could still go in the future but not make it like Infinite. Problem with Infinity. I just feel like they don't know how to make a futuristic game without completely ruining the story or just making it, Call of Duty. Because Infinite Warfare was more like a different game by itself. It would have been okay, I guess. But when you have the Call of Duty name on it, it doesn't fit the other games at all. It's kind of like what happened with Call of Duty Ghost, right? Because Call of Duty Ghost, in my opinion, was like, they were trying to use the fame of Modern Warfare 2 with Ghost being in that campaign. And to me, I thought Modern Warfare 2 campaign was pretty decent. The ending I didn't like, of course, and the multiplayer just was bad. The only good thing about it was the campaign, and then they ruined it at the end. Then the multiplayer was just awful. It was not good. They never even tried to make it a little bit better. The maps were boring. The best thing about that game was the customization of the characters and the characters themselves. And the gunplay was okay, but I felt like it wasn't good. I don't know. I come back to Call of Duty, I guess, is because it's like, that's the main thing that I used to love, and it's just being ruined every year. Same old stuff, and they have no fresh ideas. And I feel like it's because maybe the people in the company need new, fresh blood in there. People that, know what the consumer wants. I guess that's the problem with a lot of companies, is they just stick to their guns. They don't really know what people want. Like, if anyone saw the Vanguard reveal live stream, well, not the it was like the reveal trailer live stream. It was kind of a disaster. They were in there playing music with the orchestra. They had rappers playing video games. They were just like had them playing matches against professionals, and no one really cared. It just seemed like they were disconnected, and they had Courage on stage, which nothing against him. He just wasn't a good host. I don't know. I just don't feel like they know what we really want, and it's like, I feel like that's what's bringing Call of Duty down. I feel like it only does because your friends are going to buy it. That's why I buy it. My friends buy it. I could care less about Call of Duty nowadays. I feel like it's just another game that you can play. I mean, it's okay. Another game I guess I'll bring up. This will probably be a short episode. This is kind of like a beginning episode to see how it goes, get some feedback, of course. But Fortnite, actually. And I've had a lot of different opinions on Fortnite. I feel like when it first came out, I really loved it. The first chapter, it was all good. I feel like I started to get disconnected on some of the updates. They did things to the map that weren't good. They changed some of the gun play that wasn't good. And I just feel like they weren't really doing well. Like, they were trying to do too much at some points, and they weren't doing enough at other points. The map sometimes was just awful. They got rid of things that people liked. And yeah, now I feel like this new chapter they're doing, it's finally feeling like they know what they're doing. Like, the gunplay is good, the new guns are good in general, the new map is great, it feels smoother, it looks better, the graphics have been upgraded, the new skins are actually pretty nice, they did for the new season. Spider-Man, that's a big opportunity for them. Now, they haven't got a bunch of other named stuff, but I feel like Spider-Man definitely, before the movie comes out, is a good idea. But yeah, I feel like they've definitely upgraded what they're doing, and it's good to see. I feel like that's a game that'll still last a long time. A lot of people don't like battle royals, and I get that. They do get boring. Like Warzone, I would like to play, but it's not even working right now for me. It won't even load the game. I like Warzone, but it gets boring too. Then you got another game I actually recently played again was PUBG, which no one ever talks about anymore really, but that was like our first battle royale, me and my friends, and I went back on there and it actually was pretty fun. It felt good. Some of the new updates they did were really good. Some of the new maps were cool. There's one with a volcano that I think is pretty unique. Adds a little bit to the gameplay and stuff, but for the most part, it's not bad. But yeah, there's a lot of games I hope when they do come out, they really, whatever company it's coming from, they just try hard to make it what people want. It's like another game, I guess, that really did bad, but I did enjoy was probably Cyberpunk. It had a lot of issues. Though surprisingly on my Xbox One X, it didn't run terribly, which for a lot of people it did, but for mine, it actually didn't glitch a lot. And I thought it was fun. The campaign was pretty cool. I liked the character customization, and I thought that they did well on some of those things. That graphically it didn't look terrible, but I could see where people had issues and stuff like that, especially on the regular PlayStation 4 and regular Xbox One. And they should have waited to release it if they weren't really ready. But overall, I did enjoy the game. But I did hear they were supposed to release some kind of multiplayer for the game or something like that, which would be fun. It'd be kind of like a futuristic GTA, I feel like. But I hope if they do that, they really fix a lot of things that people complained about. They have released a lot of updates, but, you know, still, if it's multiplayer, that's going to be a lot bigger pack. But hopefully they get it done right and people can enjoy it, because it is a cool experience to play. The city's awesome. The gameplay's not half bad. The gunplay's okay. The characters are actually pretty good. But yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens. Another game I guess I'd talk about is GTA. I played GTA 5 since it came out, I think late 2013 on 360, PlayStation 4, then eventually PC. And it was a fun game. And when it first came out, it was a lot less stuff to do, obviously, a lot less content because it was early on, but fun game. I enjoyed it a lot on there. Then, of course, we got the update to go to next gen on Xbox One and PlayStation 4, and they also, I'm sure, did graphical updates on PC. I'm not sure about that one. And I enjoyed it a lot. They made the graphics better, they made it smoother, and I feel like they added a lot of content on GTA. They're still adding content for some reason after it being out for 8 years now. And I feel like the problem with GTA 5 is I love the game, but I can't play it as much because I feel like, you know, it's at the end of the day still the same game. The only time I really care to play GTA 5 is maybe if there's an update, might check it out, or if I decide to go on GTA 5 roleplay, but that's really only on PC, and it's not GTA 5 really, it's a better GTA 5 because I feel like people online are able to make the game kind of what people want, while GTA 5 just kind of stays the same, and sometimes when they do try to make better updates, it just ruins the game. I don't know, I feel like Rockstar needs to decide what they want, because everyone wants GTA 6 at this point. It's been so many years, and I feel like the only reason they're still doing GTA 5 online and they're putting on it into another gen console is because they're trying to make money off the shard cards, because they know people are still playing it a lot, they know they're still buying it, and they don't have any reason to make the next game. And then, well, I guess you could say, you know, they came out with the trilogy recently, which I was excited for because I haven't played those games in probably 10 years, especially Vice City and GTA 3. I was excited for it. Didn't buy them. San Andreas was on the Game Pass. I did get to play that. It was okay, except for obviously there is bugs and stuff like that people talked about. And so I didn't buy the other ones because I saw the glitches, which I don't usually care about glitches, but when they were that bad, it's kind of hard to want to play it. Because, I mean, apparently I've heard that they had a phone game company who does like the graphics on phone games to do the graphics on there, which makes no sense when they have so much money. They could have just went through and made it like GTA 5 quality graphics and gameplay. Instead, they went the cheap way, and I feel like they didn't need to do that. I feel like if they would have did what people really wanted, they could have made more money off it and it would have lasted. But they decided to go the cheap route and not really do it right. So hopefully they fix it. I've heard they fixed like the rain, and that was about it so far. But Rockstar needs to get it together because, you know, Red Dead 2 had a good campaign, but the online is kind of dreadful, to be honest. It's boring. Every once in a while I get on there and have fun, but for the most part there's just not enough content. And when you have a game like GTA where you can get cars and homes and everything else, Red Dead just seems more like a grind. It's not really that worth it in comparison to GTA, where, you know, you can get Lamborghinis and yachts and jets and have homes and apartments. While Red Dead, I mean, you can have a tent that's kind of nice, and horses and a cart, I guess, and guns, but everything's also so expensive and it takes a long time to earn money in that game. So in GTA, there's more choices, and I know Red Dead hasn't been out as long, but it just doesn't seem like it's worth the time you're gonna spend. To me, the campaign's the thing that's really worth playing in that game, and the campaign's amazing. The character's good. Some of the stuff they added to Red Dead 2 I thought was be great for GTA, the next one at least, but you never know with Rockstar what they're trying to do, because back in the day, I feel like they were so good at making games. Because I'm not saying it's good to make a game every year, but when they did, it turned out great. Like GTA 3, GTA Vice City, all those games are just great, and hopefully they get back to that track of making games where they actually care. GTA 5 in general was a great game. The campaign, I thought it was awesome. I played it like 5 times. The multiplayer was pretty good, and it felt like they really did good on that game, and now they're just soaking the last bit of, I guess, traction on there that they can before they decide to do anything else. It's kind of disappointing, you know. I think everyone wants a GTA 6. It's been 8 years, and we want them to do something different and innovative and graphically great, even more so than GTA 5 was, and do minor details like longer hair for dudes or longer hair for chicks, even piercings, and more just detail you can add to your character that makes them more unique. More character choice of customization. Cyberpunk's customization is probably one of the best I've seen. If GTA had that, it would be great. I think they should, or even WWE's customization is pretty good. They have so many choices. I don't know. I feel like that's what they need to do, though. But overall, I feel like gaming is okay right now. It's just that they need to all up their game and try to understand what people really need. And I understand that they can't make everyone happy, and that's understandable. But I don't think we're asking for a lot, really. I just think we're asking for things that people have asked for years. And it's a loud majority, I feel like, not just a little bit of people. I feel like everyone feels kind of the same, but who knows what will happen. But anyways, it was a good conversation, but I think I'm going to end it now. So everyone, please like the video, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.